Hi, my name is Dr. Cora Collette Bruner, and I'm a professor of adolescent medicine and pediatrics and also an adjunct professor of orthopedics and sports medicine. I have a master's degree in public health, and I work at Seattle Children's Hospital and the University of Washington. Today, I'm going to talk about the importance of sleep, especially in our athletes and young children, to talk about the importance of making sure your kids get enough sleep to do well in their lives. One of the things that we do notice in our culture is it's very crazy and very busy, and it seems to be very difficult to get our kids to soothe themselves to sleep and get a restful night's sleep. How can we do that as parents and as providers? How can we make sure this happens in our patient population? Well, the first thing we need to do is talk to them about how much sleep they're getting, what time they go to bed, and what time they go to sleep. Two different questions. And also, when they wake up in the morning, do they feel rested? Or are they tired even before they get out of bed? Do they want a nap in the afternoon? Are they drinking caffeine in order to stay awake or even to perform better in their sport? These are all problems because a kid is supposed to get about 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. That means they're supposed to be asleep in bed by about 9 or 10 o'clock at night if they need to wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock for school. But if they're up till 11 or 12 o'clock and getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're not getting enough sleep. They're not doing well in their sports, they're not doing well in school, and they're taking stimulants to stay awake. A couple of things to make sure you do as a parent or a provider is, number one, model good behavior. If you're staying up really late, it's hard for a kid to go to bed. So you need to actually try to make sure that you're getting enough sleep and that you're taking care of yourself as the parent. And as a provider who's taking care of your patients, that's really important. One of the other things to do is make sure electronic devices are off at least 2 or 3 hours before bed. And this is tough because we are so attached to our electronic devices. Yet our electronic devices have a lot of light. And so if we're looking at our phones or iPads or any other kind of electronic device, we're flooding our eyes with light, which can transmit into the brain and can potentially decrease the secretion of melatonin, which is a very important hormone that helps us fall asleep. And if we're telling our brain it's daytime, even though it's 11 o'clock at night, how can we get ourselves to sleep? It's impossible. So turn off the electronic devices. If you're going to try to get yourself to sleep, make sure you self-soothe with a book or music. That's okay. And get yourself into a place of calm and restful sleep a good 30 minutes before you really should be falling asleep. It takes people about 20 minutes to fall asleep, but this is an average time. The other thing to make sure of is that your room temperature is nice and cool and that there's no other distractions in the bed. The bed should just be for sleeping. Make sure that the kids or you have a nice cup of warm tea, and make sure that no food is eaten within an hour of sleep, and also that you're not doing something extremely intellectual or stimulating right before you go to sleep, because it's hard to fall asleep when your brain is worrying like that. So then when you get the sleep under control, make sure that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do isn't push for another cup of coffee or a stimulant drink, because actually our brain and our bodies are ready to go if we've had enough sleep during the night, that we can get through our day happy. Make sure that we have breakfast and not try to skimp on the food throughout the day so that we're not overeating at night so that we can't fall asleep. Sleep is extremely important for performing athletes, and studies have shown that kids and adults that get 8 to 10 hours of sleep do much better in their sport. Enjoy sleep. It's a wonderful thing, and enjoy your children and their sports.